All right, everybody, out putting in a new line. We've got 5 new places to set up, and so it's the first day. We've been off for like 4 days, I think, maybe 4 or 5, where we had to go out of town, do some work, and then we were getting ready to put in some traps yesterday, but the weather was so absolutely bad yesterday. Super frigid, snow blowing sideways, just really windy mostly. We decided not to go out and battle the wind and the cold and all that. So today we're out. Most of the snow is gone already. The sun's beating down. It's supposed to be like 39 degrees today, so it'll be a perfect day to get out and set traps. So we're out. Got Athena with me, trapping out of the truck, and we are going to at least try to set up 2 to 3 farms. We'll see how it goes, but that's our plan. And we're on the first farm, and it's a decent sized piece of property. I mean, good sized piece of property. It's, I don't know, 600, 700 acres. And then there's national forest on like 2 sides. So there's a lot of property here. And last year we trapped a little bit here. We trapped about 6 days here last year. And it was the first time we've been here. So I'm looking forward to getting in here again this year, giving it a little bit longer. We caught some cows here. We caught a couple foxes here. Caught some coons, but didn't catch any cats, although we saw quite a bit of cat sign. And we didn't catch as many coyotes as I think we probably can, because we just weren't here long enough, just for time issues. So this year we're going to be here around that 10 to 12 days probably, and we'll see how it goes. So let's go set some traps. Okay guys, so I'm on top of this little field here, this little ridge, and you can see way over there, that's all national forest land way over there. But this property goes down into the bottom and then onto the next hill, and then everything on the other side is national forest. And on this side, you can see kind of where I am. And there's a little 2-track right here that runs up through the middle of this field, all this tall grass and stuff. And then right on the other side of my truck is a big food plot, a big deer food plot. And we put 2 sets in here, mainly because there's quite a bit of sign along this little 2-track, along this edge up here by where my truck is. There's fox sign, there's coyote sign, there's bobcat tracks. So what we did is we came over here, and right here along where the critters are kind of running along this little 2-track, we put a little flat set in right here. Tried to blend it in using this big tuft of grass as our backing. We punched in a little punch hole right there, a little punch hole right there, a little punch hole right over there. Put cryptic coyote gland from Dunlap. We put some yodel dog, and we put some GH2 in the different holes. And we tried to blend this in, covering it up with some grass and trying to make it look like really nothing has been here, as in just a typical flat set. And then we put another set in right up here. And the critters are clearly walking up and down this little 2-track. There's all kinds of scat and everything in here. There's not any cows in here currently, which is fantastic. So that always makes things easier. And right here, you can see right there's the food plot. There's a little edge right here, and then everything is kind of dumping onto this 2-track. You can see there's a little trail right there, and there's another little trail right there. The deer and all the predators are just running along this little edge, and then they're just going down across the top of this ridge along this 2-track, which goes on for quite a ways. So what we did over here is we just put in a big, deep, flashy dirt hole. Use this grass and some backing, put a big dirt hole in there. Our traps out here in the front. Used a couple of sod clods, small little sod clods, just to kind of give a little bit of natural guiding, so to speak. A lot of times, as you well know, I don't even use any guiding, but we'll give it a try today, see what happens. and that's it. We have top dog in the hole, we have canine force in the hole, and I have red fox urine on the set, and that's it. So hopefully we're going to catch a couple critters here. We give them a couple different options of things to look at, and who knows, maybe we'll even double up here. Okay guys, so where I am now is I'm down in the bottom of this big draw in between these two big mountains. And what we've got down here, we're gonna put a couple sets right in here. So what I got here is I got the main creek that's running right over there. It's going from that way downstream to that way. And then I've got this feeder stream that's running into it right here, and there's a 2-track that comes from the top of the ridge all the way down here to the bottom, and along the bottom crosses the creek a couple times, and it keeps on going, goes that way on down to probably a quarter to half a mile, and then it eventually dumps into some big food plot, and that's where it ends. And right up here we have an old like UTV trail that goes up through here. You can't go up there very far before it gets really rough. But there's game trails and everything on the old UTV trail. And clearly deer and predators are using it. There's sign along it. You got this 2-track that crosses the creek right there and keeps on going. It's running right through here. You got this creek, you got that creek. And then right over there on that knoll, I'm gonna show you in a second, there's another 2-track intersection. So we're gonna put a trap over there, and I'm gonna put a trap right here. And what I did right here is I just put a big flashy dirt hole in right here. So that way anything that's coming this way is gonna come past it. Anything that's coming this way is gonna come past it. Anything that's coming this way is gonna come past it. I got the whole thing kind of covered. No guiding whatsoever on this one, just big old deep. The dirt was really good here, probably because of all the soil that's washing off the mountains, but like a 10-inch good deep dirt hole here. I've got Hiawatha Valley, Feline Fix, and Bobcat urine on the back of the hole, just because there's Bobcat sign here. And there's also a little sheep's wool down in the hole. And yeah, so that's all we're gonna do. We're not gonna put any other guiding. I got a little bit of dirt right there and some sod over there on that side just to help with this backing. Okay, so we just put a set kind of over there across that creek, a dirt hole. And now what we're doing right here is we have this 2-track that goes up the side of this mountain. It's a rough road, but you can get up there with a 4-wheel drive truck. And it goes up to the top to a food plot and a couple of open fields up on the top. And then of course, this is the road right here that we use to get down here, across the creek, and then go back up the mountain to where we set some other traps back up in there. So we have this intersection right here. We got this creek, we got that main creek, we got this little side creek right here that's running up through this drainage. So we got a lot of things. We got the drainages that come together. We got the 2 creeks that come together. We got the 3 little 2-tracks that come together. So there's a lot of things coming together right here. That's why we put 1 trap right over there and 1 trap right here. Since we put a big flashy dirt hole over there, what I did is I put a flat set in right here. I just used this little log that was laying back right over here. I just moved it right here. Put the trap out here in the front. Try to blend it in as best that I could. Obviously this is all frosty and there's a little bit of snow left, so that looks, a little bit out of place, but after it gets frost on it tonight, it'll look perfectly fine. And then I have this log right here, so anything that's coming down this road, anything that's coming off of this road, anything that's coming out of this road is going to walk right past here, hopefully smell this. The wind is, we're using the wind to our advantage, and I punched in a little hole right there and a little hole over there. I put some TKO, Blackie's Blend TKO in that one side, some Katz Brothers Evanescence Curiosity Lure in the other side. I put intubated a little bit of call lure on the back side there from Katz Brothers, and then some Bobcat urine on that log right there. So there's lots of scents, there's lots of stuff going on here, and hopefully we're gonna catch some critters when they come by here. So we're putting in another set here, and where we are is we're on the side of this mountain. So there's a 2-track that runs along this fence, and there's the fence that runs all the way down to the end of this field. And then that behind there is all big woods, national forest land. And so you got this 2-track, and then you got this 2-track, and it runs down to the bottom in there. And we were just down in that bottom, down in there, setting up some traps down there along a creek. And then you got those fields up on top, and then everything down that way is all national forest as well. So where we are is we're right here at where these two tracks come together, this 2-track, and we have this fence here. So we have a trail that runs along this 2-track, and then they're running down through there, and you can see out here is just tall grass and stuff where the predators are hunting. And what we did is we went ahead and put a big flashy dirt hole right here. So you got this 2-track covered, and you got this 2-track covered going up that way and going down this way. So right here on this edge, and big dirt hole right there, trap right here. No guiding or anything like that, just kind of made it big and flashy, and put some soul taker bait down in the hole, a little bit of sheep's wool, and some Tom Miranda High Plains Drifter Predator Call Lure, which I've never used before. And so we stuck a little bit of that down in the hole, and that's it. That's all we got going on here. But it should be a good place because the predators are obviously going to run up and down these 2-tracks, and then they're using this right here as a way to work from down there in the woods in that big holler in the bottom, and then they come up in here into these fields and all that kind of stuff. And then up here in the top, we haven't got up there yet, but up here in the top there's like a big field up here in the top, and another 2-track that runs along up there. So we're going to go up there and check that out next and see about putting some traps up there too somewhere. All right, guys, so on this one, we're up on top of this mountain here. We put some sets down there in the bottom. We put a set just across the hill there where the two tracks come together. And we put some sets on farther up into this property. But where we are right now is we have this 2-track that runs, you can see it just runs right along this fence here on the left. And it just keeps on going, keeps on going, keeps on going. Goes through a gate and goes into big forest for a while, and it goes through this gate right here into this field where there's a big food plot over there, and you can see the 2-track just goes right on through here. And then there is an old trail, which is really kind of an ATV trail that runs along right down through here, and you can see it comes down to the bottom, goes up the other side, and just keeps on running, keeps on running. Clearly that's very rough. You can still do an ATV. Critters are running it. I'm not going to drive it in my truck, clearly. So you have all these things that come together right here. You have this fence, you have this trail, you have that 2-track with this hole. The gate is open. You can see how the gate is just open right here. So everything's coming through right here. There's woven wire fence on a lot of this. So everything's coming through right here. They're running these little 2-tracks. And they're running this fence down through here and continuing on. And then they're going out into this field, and then they're hunting across probably the top of this field a little bit, seeing what they can wind. And then you can see that's big forest and national forest down that way. So what we did is right down there, there's the 2-track that breaks off that we were just at, that goes down into that bottom, down into that big valley. So we have a trap there, and then we have a trap right here. So we got both of these intersections covered right here. And what I did is I put in, can't really hardly see it because of the shadows, but put in a dirt hole right here. Big hole, deep hole. Actually, really the ground's been pretty good here so far. Rocky, but not super hard. So big deep hole, about 10, 11 inches deep down in there. I've got some federales, some Violator 7, and a little sheep's wool. Put a little coyote urine on this one because it's getting close to breeding season now. So I thought that'd be good. And then you can see no real guiding. The only guiding I kind of have is I put some dirt out of that was left over just right here on the edge to kind of force them a little bit over in here because that's where the trap is. But that's the only thing I got going. The hole's deep enough that they're gonna have to come around to the front and try to get in there. So that's what we got here. So hopefully we come here in the next day or so and we have this great view, and we have a coyote sitting here overlooking this view, and we'll catch some critters. All right, guys, I'm on top of this ridge here. This is another new section of property. Never really trapped here before. I did look at this piece of land last year, but didn't really have an opportunity to get in here and do much with it. So I'm on this little 2-track. It goes back to a feed plot on the very end of the top of this ridge. I have a trap back there, but I forgot to shoot any video. So I'll shoot some video of that one tomorrow. But today, right now we're on this 2-track. It comes out, and you can see it kind of just keeps on going along the top of this ridge, and eventually comes out to an old barn, and then the road. So where I'm at is I'm right here, kind of on this big curve right here. And the reason I stopped here is I just got out and started looking around. Athena found some scat. It's really tall grass in here. And then I noticed several like little game trails, like that one right there. And there's a couple of others. There's another one right here. I noticed several little game trails right here where the critters and the deer are working through this. So what I did is right here on the edge, I put a big flashy dirt hole right here just off the road. I'm using the north and the west wind to my favor. Big deep dirt hole down in there. Traps right out here in the front. Just threw some sod out there on the edges just to kind of make it look like a big old mess, like something was digging up there. And hopefully whatever is coming off here, whatever is coming off of here, and whatever's coming down this 2-track is going to see that, stop, smell, do whatever they're going to do. Here's some scat right there. You can see that. And there's some more scat up there in the front of my truck. So the critters are obviously using this little road. Now, for those of you, before you ask, why didn't I just put a set right there on that trail, or a set right here on this trail? And to answer your question, I seriously thought about it. I tried to figure out where that trail was going, and then also I looked out here for any tracks and stuff, and clearly you're not going to find coyote tracks out here, but I did find a ton of deer tracks. And my only concern about setting that trail or setting this trail right here, this one to me looks more like a coon trail, but still yet there are deer tracks all over the place in here, because they're easier to find clearly than a coyote track or a bobcat track or anything else. And my concern was that I would have deer in these trail sets all the time. In other words, I'd be coming in here every day and the deer would be flipping them, and I'd be having to reset them every day. So what I did is I took the chance, put a dirt hole in right here, and we'll see if that works. If that doesn't work for 3 or 4 days, then probably I will come in here and go ahead and put a trail set, or maybe even 2 trail sets in here, just to see if I can pick up some critters and keep the deer out of them. All right, guys, it's about 3 o'clock, so this is gonna be the last set that we're gonna get in today. We still got to get home and do a few things. But where we are now is we're on that same newer farm, the second farm we're working on setting up today. And I just put a set down there along those trails. This one, I've got another big bend in the road right here. And we've got this big patch of briars, and there's an old homestead over there. And you can see how there's a lot of tall grass, a lot of thick brush. And there is probably about 4 or 5 different piles of coyote scat. In fact, here's some right here, here's some. And there's several other pieces around here. There's also some fox scat, and there's a couple of little trails. You can see there's a little trail right here. This is probably a coon trail, but it's going right in there, but there's some fox scat right in there. And that coon trail is going inside this big pile of briars. And then there's a trail going outside. This is a big briar patch. Briars and buckbrush and just thick stuff. So there's lots of food in here, lots of stuff for the predators to be going after. So what we did is we came over here, and you can see this big tuft of grass here, and we just made a flat set right here. Here's the 2-track, there's some scat right there, there's some more scat right there. So we used a couple pieces of the scat, used this tuft of grass as our backing, tried to blend it in as much as we could. So you can see we put all kinds of grass and stuff all over the top of it. Use a little bit of scat there, a little bit of scat there. Punch hole here, punch hole there, covered up the punch holes. I've got Evanescence from Katz Brothers in one, Blackie Blends TKO in the other. And then I punched a little punch hole underneath this tuft of grass and put a little predator control group gator bait down in there, itty bitty little bit. I mean, just a small, because it's just an itty bitty little punch hole. Shoved it down in there, covered that up, put some red fox urine on the back of this, and that's it. So you can't really see anything other than a tuft of grass and 2 pieces of scat. That's it. There's no other holes, there's no nothing, everything else is covered up, but there is lure and stuff in there. And hopefully whatever critter is coming down through here, searching over here, you can see Athena, she's over there searching around for critters. Mice and such. Hopefully we're going to catch them right here. They're going to stop, they're going to want to check this out, they're going to want to smell around, they're going to want to hike a leg, do all that kind of stuff.